Hey gang, it's JC and this is your Daily Dose for Thursday, September 2nd, 2010. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We have archives up there. You can look up the old stuff. We have the Daily Dose available on your mobile phone. Don't need an app or anything like that. Just go to jc'sdailydose.com. You can pick it up on your mobile phone. And we have Dave's weather forecast down in the corner. And we've got the audio on iTunes. And we roll on with our 15-month paid vacation here. Cardinals are moving back to KMOX next season. The Cardinals are 7 games out of first place here on the 2nd of September. And, you know, the best you could hope for would be a sweep against the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. And then you're still 4 games out with only a couple of weeks left in the season, like 3.5, 4. Hearing, obviously, now problems between Tony La Russa and Colby Rasmus that have been rumored for a long time. Now Tony apparently has told some of his friends that he thinks Colby Rasmus is lazy, and Tony has actually told his friends apparently that he's sort of lost his appetite for managing baseball. So what the F is going on? So you look at all of it, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, the 70s weren't that long ago. Anybody remember the Cardinals in the 1970s? Might this be a case of KMOX can have the Cardinals at this point? And Cincinnati, by the way, playing a day game at home yesterday, and you're in first place, and you got a shot at your first championship in 20 years, and what happens? The place is half empty. It's just amazing. All right, in the late 80s and early 1990s, I had a Mercedes-Benz 560 SL. Now, if you looked at it, you'd say it's gray and it's got a tan interior, but no, when you buy a Mercedes, it's anthracite gray with a palomino interior, huh? Yeah? And it was just beautiful. It was the finest piece of machinery I've ever operated. And it got to the point where I started to get to be afraid to take it some places. You're afraid it's going to get dinged or stolen, or you're going to be driving around with your top down late at night and you get these clowns who pull up next to you and try to start trouble or shoot at you. And one of the most terrifying things of all, just trying to drive through a supermarket parking lot. Hell, if I'm driving a rental car, that makes me nervous because people back out and they do stuff without looking at. What's with people just gunning it in supermarket parking lots? You know, it's like you're going to go 75 feet and you got to hit the gas to get there. I don't understand it. Anyhow, but I got really afraid to drive that car in certain places and ended up spending a lot of time in the garage because I was afraid to take it out. This is how I feel about watching Sam Bradford play football in a meaningless preseason game like they're going to have tonight. Tiger Woods has taken out a $54 million mortgage on a house he's building in Florida. It's perfect for him because it's white and it's ugly. Dr. Oz might be the only non-quack guy on TV who calls himself a doctor these days. Turned 50 and gets his colonoscopy, like we all do or did at age 50. And they find a polyp, precancerous growth. 2 procedures, he's going to be okay, but it scared the hell out of everybody. Because if the doctor gets it. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Remember those movies? 1989 followed up by The Bogus Journey in 1991. Keanu Reeves, who at that time was not a particularly famous guy like he is now, and University City's own Alex Winter, who we met a couple of times. Greatest guy. He's the little blonde guy with the curly hair, you know. So, believe it or not, they're talking about getting together and maybe doing a 3rd Bill and Ted film. I'm in favor of that. Nicolas Cage, not particularly in favor of. I know everybody thought he gave a great performance in Leaving Las Vegas. I thought the great performance in that movie was Elizabeth Shue. And I thought that she should have gotten the Oscar for Best Actress. But there's a lot of people who think Nicolas Cage, because he's show business royalty, deserves some sort of special treatment. Among the people who does not believe that he deserves special treatment is his lawyer, accountant, manager, and they've been fighting for the last couple of years about, you owe me this, I did this for you, you didn't pay me, that sort of stuff. Well, the lawyer manager has basically said, look, okay, I didn't do anything wrong. You want to know where Nicolas Cage went wrong? Here's the list. He's got 15 homes around the world. And they're not just like, lovely 2 bedrooms with an attached garage. These are palatial mansions, and he's got 15 of them all over the world. He's got 4 yachts. If you need to go somewhere, you get in the boat and you sail there. I thought that was the whole point of having the yacht. He's got an island in the Bahamas. Not a place, on an island in the Bahamas. He's got his own friggin' island. He's got a Gulfstream jet and millions in jewelry and art. I'm siding with the lawyer, manager, accountant on this one. Jerry Lewis, and don't get me wrong, he's done wonderful things for all the crippled kids, and you can't take that away from him. And there's a lot of people who think that his movies back in the 1960s were spectacular. I was not among them. I thought the Martin Lewis thing had its moments, especially for the time and the place that it was and that it took place. Well, Jerry Lewis now is 84 years old, and he looks like a ghoul. I don't know, his color of his skin is not the color of human skin, and I don't know whether they've done something to his lips to make them red or what the deal is, but his face doesn't match his lips. He looks like a cadaver. And now somebody asked him about Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton. It's like, if you were their dad, what would you do with them? And he went into this like semi-scary tirade, this rant about punching, this is his words, punching Lindsay Lohan right in the mouth. He would punch her in the mouth. And then he said if that didn't work, he would take her over his knee and spank her. And the same thing goes for Paris Hilton, he said. He said, these girls are crying out for help. Well, yeah, if an 84-year-old man had them spread out on his lap and was spanking them, my guess is they would be crying out for help. You see Julia Roberts on TV, magazines, movies, and stuff like that. And if you're a guy, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, Danny Moder, her husband, the guy who gets to just slobber all over Julia Roberts. That guy's got it made. Man, oh man. Well, now we learn that Julia Roberts is amongst that special, select group of women in this country. And I know they do it overseas, but I'm talking about here. She doesn't shave her armpits. There's pictures all over the internet of her this morning with her arm up, and she's got big old hairy pits. And this is one of these things where they caught her on vacation and she let herself go for a couple of days. She's in a dress, she's on the red carpet, and she's waving to somebody. Oh, do I need this stuff? Do you need this? Ann and Nancy Wilson are in town on Saturday night. They're going to play the Family Arena. Tickets are still available if you want to see Heart in concert this weekend in St. Louis. We're going, and I expect it to be a great show. In other news, Kermit Butts admits that he helped kill Samuel Boob. That's right, Butts killed Boob. Last year, 29-year-old Samuel Boob of Center Hall, Pennsylvania, was shot and killed. The police discovered that he was murdered by a man named Ronald Heichel, who was having an affair with his wife, Miranda Boob. That's right, Butts killed Boob. Got to be careful when you get an invitation to anything, especially when we're having some people over to the house. There is a legendary story about a local TV sportscaster, this was a couple of years back, who invited all of his friends, TV and otherwise, to a big gathering at his house. And everybody showed up going, oh, that's great, let's have a party, why not? They showed up there and they had the food and the drink, and a few minutes into the party they sat everybody down and they said, well, we have a little announcement we'd like to make, and we'd like to tell you about New Skin, which is, I think, some sort of a spray or cream or rub or something like that. And it was like sort of like one of these Avon or Amway things. And everybody sort of looked around going, thought it was a party. Yeah, I gotcha. So you got to be really careful. Well, now, watch out, because people are throwing what they call sex parties. And you're like, where do I sign up for that? And so now you show up. Guess what the sex party is? Expectant parents who get everybody over to announce the gender of their baby. And usually they don't know what the gender is, and the doctor puts it in an envelope, seals it, and then everybody comes to the party, and everybody gets there. They sit there, and they open the envelope and find out what sex the baby is going to be. Isn't that fabulous? You'd want to kill somebody, wouldn't you? Just got my first notification the other day for flu shots. I'm not happy about the summer being over and things like, football and flu shots and leaves coming off the trees. I hate this time of year. I know that all the surveys say, autumn, it's just wonderful. I love the humidity's down, the temperature cools off. I just absolutely love autumn. It's my favorite season. And I want to go, shut up. You may end up washing your hands 400 times a day after I tell you this, because the germs are out there, and especially bad in the upcoming flu season. Here are 5 instances and things that you touch on a regular basis that you need to boil your fingers after you do it. Number one, public magazines. So you go through like the doctor's office or something like that. People are sick in the doctor's office, and it turns out that on dry surfaces like that glossy paper, bacteria and even E. coli can live on them for months. So that's number one. Number two, office keyboards, and especially those little cracks, those little crevices in between the keys. Stuff gets in there and just lives and grows and does great in there. Number three, the gym. Bacteria that could cause the cold and virus. 73% of the weights, 51% of the aerobic equipment in the gym. Number four, shopping carts. A study by the University of Arizona found that 2 out of every 3 shopping cart handles was contaminated with fecal bacteria. And number 5 is subway poles. Basically, any surface you touch on public transportation is completely covered in germs and bacteria. Of all the things on the list, these are the most infected surfaces of all. Wash your hands. You can go to the Walgreens and buy those little packets of moist towelettes. Those do the job. All right, happy birthday today to Belleville's own Jimmy Connors, 58. He was a hellion on the tennis court, but here's a guy who pretty much has maintained a pretty high level of dignity over the years, especially for people from around here. So Jimmy Connors, 58 today, got an awesome wife, former centerfold Patty McGuire. JC's Eye Candy today. I don't know who these guys are, but they must have a death wish. Some of the stuff they're doing in this video is stuff you just sort of look and you go, okay, this can't be somebody playing with the camera. They're really doing this stuff, but they're nuts. Okay, and maybe insane, and maybe with a death wish. Got to check it out. I don't want to give any more away. JC's Eye Candy today. The Video Village. People are loving our Wheel of Fortune stuff from 1986. The first 3 parts of that 5-part series from KSDK. Back when 42 million people a day were watching Wheel of Fortune. The Wayback Machine has got Art Holiday back in 1986 when he was still a sportscaster on Channel 5. All right, tomorrow, 6 phrases you're probably saying wrong. And also we're going to tell you about the new documentary about Pat Tillman, who was the Arizona Cardinals football player who gave up a lucrative career in pro football, joined the Marines, and ended up losing his life. The documentary is opening up this weekend. I've seen it. We're going to tell you all about it. That's it. JC's Daily Dose for Thursday, September 2nd, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.